will need different requirements. So are you prepared for all the requirements? So after you determine your objective, then we will be getting into the preparation of the data step. So this step is crucial, as for every AI development, you need data to train a model. Doesn't matter if it is supervised learning or unsupervised learning, you need data. Right, so for data preparation, it refers to data collection. Okay. And then after you have the data, you'll be starting to train the model. Okay, so modeling involves like analyzing the prepared data to find things like internal relationships and regular patterns. Right. So after you train the model, you will need to evaluate the model, which, because you cannot obtain a satisfactory model after the first evaluation, of course. So we'll need to re-evaluate it and then retrain it and repeat the step all over again, from training to evaluate and back to training again, to make sure the accuracy is increasing, is in a incremental. All right, so lastly, after everything is done, you will be deploying the models, where after you deploy, you can use the models. So these are the three normal types, which is regression, clustering, and classification. So regression normally is used to analyze data and predict data and relationships. So for example, it can be used in customer development, customer retention, production lifecycle analysis, sales trend prediction, some targeted promotions. All right. So for clustering, as you can see from the image, it is used for groupings. All right. So for clustering, it can be used in customer segmentation, maybe, and then customer characteristic analysis, and also sometimes in customer purchase trend prediction, and also the segment of the market segmentation. And the last one is classification, right? So classification, it involves defining a set of categories, then list of the common features of object you need to identify. So for this, you can be used in user classification, then feature analysis, customer satisfaction analysis. All right. Okay, so next, let's quickly go into our Huawei's product, which is ModelArts. Okay, so what exactly is ModelArts? So ModelArts is a one-stop AI platform which enables developers and data scientists of any skill to rapidly build, train, and develop models anywhere from the cloud to the edge. So why do we say that it enables developers?
Sorry. I share screen.
Sorry?
Screen.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, your screen are only content.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, what is ModelArts? So why do we say that ModelArts enables developer and data scientists of any skill level to build? Because ModelArts consists of part of low code platform, where if you don't know how to code, you can also develop your own AI models and AI application. All right. So we go into the ModelArts architecture. Okay, so this is the ModelArts architecture. So we can see at first we'll have the data, and then we'll process the data. Then after processing, we'll do the model training. So after the model training, we will have the model management, where you can go back to the data again, which you optimize your data to increase the accuracy of the model, which you see here. So sometimes after your model accuracy is high enough, then you can do deployment, become an AI application. Okay, so you can see there's a AI gallery here. So you also have an option to post or upload your AI models to AI gallery. So AI gallery is also one of our Huawei's cloud AI features, which I will talk about it later. Okay. So what is the ModelArts data management? So this is a in detail consists of all this step on the data part. So at first we need to create data sets, right? So after the data set is created, you need to import data. So on Huawei Cloud, usually we will be using the OBS service to import the data or upload the data. So about this OBS, I will also be talking about it later and also do some demonstration on the hands-on part. All right. So after the data is uploaded or imported, we will go to the data processing. So during data processing, we will need to evaluate the quality of the data. So for example, if you are trying to use PyTorch to create a model, then you will need to check if the data you find is the image, maybe the image is the size consistent or the size of the image is not consistent. Because for PyTorch, if the image is not consistent of the size, then you will need to add an interpolation layer to resize it, because tensor of image need to be trained in the same size to run the inference. So this data processing, you will do all the processing of the data you are having, no matter if you are having images as your data or audio or text, right? So after you process your data, then we will get into the data labeling. So Huawei Cloud ModelArts, we have auto labeling function and also team labeling function. All right. So after you label your data, we will go into post-processing. Then after everything is done, we will go into the publishing. And then after publish, we will evaluate the data set again. Okay. So at the front section here, if your data is perfect, then we will directly train and developing and the training of the models. And then we will have an inference service for the AI application. All right, so let's quickly get into the tools of ModelArts. So ModelArts EXEML. All right, so this is the one that we mentioned just now about the low code platform. All right, EXEML. So EXEML is actually a customized free model development tools that helps you start codeless AI application development with high flexibility. All right, so XML can automate model design, parameters, tuning, and training, and model compression and deployment based on the labeled data. So XML, it contains of 5 features, which is image classification, object detection, predictive analytics, sound classification, and text classification. Okay, so for image classification, you can, for example, you can use it on vehicle classification to classify vehicles, type of vehicles. And also some real world problem solving might be the stock photos or social media, the auto tagging of the detection of the image. Right, so for object detection, normally you can use it for dress code inspection. For example, at university schools for the dress code of the students, or construction sites where you detect the dress code of the construction workers if their dress code is valid. Okay. Then the predictive analytics. So for predictive analytics, normally we will take CSV, Excel data All right. So for all the data, we can do something like user profile analysis and maybe targeted marketing or this predictive analytics. Right. So next one is the sound classification. So this one is quite special. So for sound classification, normally we use to monitor abnormal sounds. Or we use to detect sound. Okay. So the last one is the text classification. So text classification, we identifies the class of a piece of the text. So one of the use case you can use it is like maybe you are doing a web scraping, all right? You are web scraping all the news, online news, okay? So you scrape the headlines of the news website. So from the headlines of the news, the title of the news, so you can do classification. You can detect what type of news is this? Is this about economy? Or is this about politics or science or about new technology? So this is the use case of text classification. So of course, there are many other use cases for all these 5 tools. So I'll just be giving some example here. All right, so apart from the EXEML, which is this free code development tools, we also have tools for people who know how to code or people who likes to have customization on their model training. It's this one, the ModelArts Dev environment. So ModelArts Dev environment uses cloud native resources. So, and it integrates the development tools change to provide better in-cloud AI development experience for AI development, exploration, and teaching. So if you are wondering what ModelArts Dev environment is, it's actually alike to the Jupyter Notebook. So you can use it for model training or doing inference. So for this dev environment is a online IDE, so you can use it to code for AI application. So this dev environment actually also support remote access. So you can access it from your private notebook or from a local IDE like Visual Studio Code. Right, you can connect to this dev environment by remote SSH. Right, so this dev environment, it also support image saving. So you can just save your image as a development, save the development environment as an image, then you can read it for other project or you can share it to others. So of course, for this dev environment, Huawei also provides some preset images, something like PyTorch, TensorFlow.
Sorry, please wait a minute. Maybe his network is not working.
Sorry, I think there is problem with my internet connection. It suddenly breaks off. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, let me share screen. Right, so can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. Okay, sorry for the interruption. There's something wrong with my internet connection. All right, so yeah, we come to this AI gallery. So I think I did mention this AI gallery just now previously. So what actually is this AI gallery? So AI gallery is a ModelArts empowered developer ecosystem community provided by Huawei. So in this community, you can find different things like models, algorithms, this, and also you also yourself can upload your models or your algorithm to this AI gallery. So for this AI gallery, you can get support from Huawei internal or the developer communities, enterprises, or individual developers that uses this AI gallery. So it is actually an ecosystem community for the AI development. You can find models here, and also you can use it directly by subscribing to it, okay, and algorithms. So I will also show you on this AI gallery later on the hands-on sessions. Okay, so the next one is object storage service. So this is actually not much related to AI, but I'm introducing this because when you're trying to build your AI models, when you are doing the data processing, you need to upload your data to ModelArts, right? So normally we would suggest and we recommend you to use this OBS service to upload, as it is faster and also more convenient for you. Okay, so to access this OBS, you can directly access it through the OBS console, the Huawei Cloud Console, or you can access it using SDK or API with HTTP and HTTPS, or a command line, the OBS util. And also, we also have a desktop application called OBS Browser Plus. You can download it into your Windows and use it. Right. Okay, so now we will come into the hands-on and examples. All right. So before I start with the hands-on, okay, you can see these are a few use cases of our ModelArts on AI. For example, if you are using image object detection, it can be used in factories to check the states of the equipment or machineries, or in manufacturing sector, in production sector, where in these automobiles, you can use it to detect all these bolts, screw, and pins. Is it all placed accordingly, or is there any missing parts for quality inspection? Right. Or you can also use it in autopilots for cars, like you can detect the signboard, what is the signboard notice, and what's the traffic light. Okay, do we need to stop the car, or you can continue it? But of course, for autopilot, you also need some additional configuration, as you need to also detect the distances between the objects. Right. So you can also use the ModelArts for using the sound classification or NGOs, the non-government agency, to protect the forest, like analyzing the habitat of the forest. All right, so for text classification, you can use it, maybe you can use it in your email server, if you are hosting an email server. Okay, you can, by identifying the subject and also the content of an email, you can categorize email if it is a spam email or it is a normal email that should go to an inbox. Right. So for image classification, it can also be used in traffic control. For example, in some countries, there are lanes designated for specific vehicles. So by using the object classification, you can detect if the cars or the vehicles is in their designated lanes or they are breaking the law for this. All right. So now for the hands-on. So just give me a moment. Let me share my screen. I will guide you through the Huawei Cloud Console. Right. All right. Okay. So this is our Huawei Cloud website. Is to access the console, first you need to log in, right? You need to log in into your Huawei account, which I believe all of you already have a Huawei account, right? Because you need the Huawei account to register the competition. All right, so after you log in, you can see the console button right here, right? So you just click into it. Okay, so right after you get into Huawei Cloud Console, you can click these three bars here, the hamburger and the right side here. And then you can just search ModelArts. It is under the EI Enterprise Intelligence category. So yeah, ModelArts. So here you can directly access the ModelArts from here. Seems like there's really something wrong with my internet connection. It's slow right now. All right, so this is the ModelArts dashboard. So you can see we have example here, the XML for wind-bound detection. All right. And then at here, you can see the usage details if you are currently having any models or any application, and also the development tools. So for the EXEML I mentioned just now, you can access from here. You can see we have image classification, object detection, and all these 5 categories. So EXEML is the low-code platform where you don't need to know how to code, and you can build your own AI application. So for example, if I wanted to get an object detection project, all right, so I just click create project, right? And then here, you can see once I create the project, I give you a name, and then we'll start with the data set, which you need to get the data, which you see the input data set part is the OBS part. Of course, I think you can also upload it manually, but it is better to use OBS. Right. So we have input data set path, output. So you need to upload your data into OBS. Then you can direct access the items in the OBS. For example, this is my OBS. This data set. This data set. Okay. So here you will choose your dataset path, and then here you can add your labels. Because for image classification, you will need labels to label the image, right? So it is actually identical for all these types, where after you create a project, you need to give it a name, then you need to set the dataset path from OBS. Okay. So now this is the data environment, the notebook, the GPT lab, where you can put your custom AI codes for modeling or inference. Right, so we have data management. Here are the data sets. For example, the data set that I used in EXEML just now, which I created the data set, right? So actually you can create data set at here as well. So if you create a data set at here, then you can reuse this data set for many projects. Okay, you can create multiple EXML projects using the same data set. So you will need to recreate it again and again and re-upload it. So after this, we have algorithm management, where it is used for your custom algorithm. If you want to code to have a custom algorithm. And then training management, where you set to a task for the training task, train your models. Okay. Then we have this service deployment. So this service, this deployment is actually for you to deploy your AI application. You can deploy it as a batch service or real-time service as an API, where you can simply use HTTP API call to initiate the AI models. Okay, so yeah, here is the AI gallery. So in AI gallery, you can find a lot of models and algorithm provided by the community, which you can directly use it. Okay. Oh my God. And you can see here. So there are models or there are items uploaded by Huawei itself, the ModelArts, or it can uploaded by developers, as this is a community ecosystem. Right. So for this one, for example, this object detection. Okay. So waiting for it to load. Let's browse through here. Okay. You can see, yeah, here there are many object detection algorithms, text classification algorithms, audio classification algorithms, which you can directly use the algorithms, and also you can editing it on your preference to make it your own version. So for example, this previous one, the object detection. So for here, it's actually a full set where you have the algorithms and you have all the specs here. So to use it, it's actually very simple. You just click the subscribe button. All right. And then click continue. You will have this thing in your ModelArts. So this AI gallery is actually very useful when the community is getting larger and larger. So you have different models, different algorithms here, which you can use directly or use it as a reference or for your own learning or testing, right? Okay, so yeah, you can see it's directly here. Then you can directly try it. So I will not go through it because of the time restriction. Okay. So now I will show you about the OBS, right? OBS is important as for all the AI development on ModelArts, you need to have data. Of course, so you need to upload your data to OBS. All right, so this is OBS. Okay. So to start off using it, you need to create a bucket. So you can ignore all this. Okay, these are the buckets I'm using for testing. So you need to create a new bucket. And you don't need to worry about OBS as it is pay-per-use. So if you are not using it, you won't be charged. So you can create a bucket. You can have a bucket name. So maybe put it as a test competition. Okay. So you can choose it to deploy on multi-availability zone or a single. So normally we just use single. All right. Then here is the storage class. You can have standard, infrequent access, or archive. So you can see the description for all these data storage classes here. So normally we will just use the standard one. Okay. So this is the bucket policy. Right, you can also see the description here. For private, only bucket owners have full control, or public reads. Okay, so normally we will only be using private. For this server-side encryption. So this enterprise project, I believe that you won't have this because you are using an individual Huawei cloud account. This enterprise project will only have on accounts like mine, which is IAM account. So you no need, you will not have this enterprise project. So you can just skip this enterprise project. And you can just create now. You can see it's free. So if you didn't use it, then you won't be charged. Okay, so you can just click create now. Okay, then you can see it's here. Okay, it's actually quite fast. You can see after create a bucket, it's directly available here. And yeah, here you can create a folder, or you can upload an object. Okay, you can upload the object here. You can directly drag and drop or the basic add file features. Okay. So for this upload object, you can use this web-based GUI through the Huawei console, or you can use this OBS Browser Plus. It is a desktop application. You can download it. Okay. So different methods have their different restriction and constraint. So you can, if you want to know more, you can check it. Check here. We have also OBS util. It's a CLI tool. Okay, so this is the OBS Browser Plus tool. And we have OBS FS. So this tool is specifically for Linux system. Okay, so for Windows, you can use this or this. Or just simply use this web-based UI. It's also not a problem. Okay, so let's say you have done the projects, okay, and everything is good, all good. Then you don't need this anymore. So you can delete this if you don't want it anymore. So just very simple, just click delete and it will gone. Okay. All right, so next I will let you see what if you want to try on some hands-on. I will not go through the hands-on step by step, as most hands-on will take you 2 to 3 hours. So I will just show you how you can access the hands-on, where you can access it. So you can try it later on your own. Okay. Okay, so to access all the resources, you can just come to Huawei Cloud website. Okay, this is the website. And then you click products. And then you also search for ModelArts here. Okay, once you come into ModelArts, you go to the documentation, right? Documentation. Okay, so for here, you can see this user guide for EXML. Yeah, it teach you how to use it with some step-by-step guidance. So, okay, for example, this image classification, okay, it will guide you through from data preparation to deployment. So let's see what is this about. Okay, so for this example here, it lets you learn how to use this image classification to identify the types of flowers. Okay, so this is actually what it looks like when you are using the ModelArts. After you set your data, you upload your data to through OBS, and then you can start to label your images. Right. You can see here. So yeah, this is the type of flowers, the labels. So after you're done labeling it, then you can click the start training button. It will automatically help you to train the model based on the labels and the data you provided. Okay. So for this is for classic image classification. So for object detection, it actually looks like this. All right. So for object detection, it can detect multiple objects within the same image. So for example, I upload this image, then you can choose the area of the thing that you want to detect. For this, we're trying to detect Winbao. So this Winbao is actually this doll here from Huawei. So yeah, we're trying to detect Winbao, then you can just drag this area here. So this is the manual labeling. You label it, you drag it here, and also you can also label it. So you have pass here. Let's say if today you have 27 images uploaded through the OBS, then you can see you will need to label it one by one. And then after you label it, you can just start to print the models as well. All right, so this is actually very useful. You can, as you can follow the guide step by step, and then you can try on the image classification, object detection, and all these other three things here. You can learn how to use it, how to use the tools, ModelArts. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, we also ModelArts, we also can have custom algorithms, because if you are using the EXML, it is low code platform, right? So you cannot change or modify the algorithm or the inference as your own will. So if you want to have a custom one, you can also do that. So there are actually a better environment for this, which we call it as Cool Gallery. No, sorry, Cool Lab. Okay, so how to access Cool Lab? First, you find it on the top navigation bar here. You can find developers, right? Right, developers. And then you click into learn. Developers, learn. Okay, then yeah, you can see here, Cool Labs. So Cool Labs is actually a sandbox environment, which lets teach you step by step and directly let you get a hands-on experience on all some topics or services. So yeah, you can see Cool Labs, and then you click view more. Okay, because here are very limited to 3 items. You can just click view more. Yeah, you can see here, there are a lot of Cool Labs sandboxes in different fields. So let's say if you're interested in AI, you want to learn about AI. So you just come into AI, then yeah, you can see here, this is the Cool Labs. So I'll just give you a very quick example. For example, I want to use custom algorithm. Okay, I don't want to use the EXML. I want to have customized custom algorithms. I want to code myself, or I want to learn how to code the algorithms. Then you can directly click it, and then here you can click start exercise. Okay, so what is good about Collabs is that this Collabs will provide you with a temporary Huawei cloud account where you can directly use it to purchase resources. So you won't need to use your own money to try on. Okay. So you can see here, yeah, they provide you the Huawei account. You can log in with this account and test it. So you won't be charged. You won't need to use your own money to try it. Okay, so here, exercise, you click the second one, the exercise interface. So here, yeah, we are already in a virtual machine, a sandbox. So this is the Linux based, I think, yeah. So we have a terminal here. This is the sandbox. So you can, yeah, you can see it from the left side, you have the stats. Okay. So you just need to follow the step. You just open the Google Chrome. Yeah, here it asks you to create OBS file directory. So you just open the Chrome, log in using this account. So this account, you can see that it has account name, username, and password. And then, so you cannot log in with Huawei ID because it is not an Huawei ID. It is actually an IAM account. So to log in this, you need to switch it to IAM user. So we switch it to IAM user, then yeah, you can just fill it accordingly. Account name, which is the tenant name, account name, and then login, and then you can get into the Huawei Cloud console. So you can just follow this step on the left-hand side, step by step, to try on this exercise. Okay, so for this one, it is a custom algorithm. So you can see that it teach you how to use the Jupyter Notebook, the dev environment, okay, how to get data. If you don't want to upload it manually from file, you want to use the wget from some resources like maybe Kaggle or some data resources, okay? So you can download it, you can decompress it. So here, it teaches you step by step, very precisely. Also, the code for the algorithms, how to code it. So what is the code here? Very detailed thing. So yeah, if you want to experience AI or any other topics, you can try on this Collabs. So this Collabs is a very useful platform, which you can try on many things, from database, cloud computing to AI, okay, and even IoT. All right, so let me check the time. So yeah, the time is almost 1 hour. So I will stop here for the hands-on and example, and we will now start the Q&A session. So if you have any question, you may ask here. Let me share. Okay, so we'll have a Q&A session right now, right here. Okay, so if you have any question, you can raise it now. Or if you are shy, you can also ask it by sending us email from here. Or you can ping us using the WhatsApp. All right, so let me see if there's any question. Right?
Yeah, any question you could write on the chat box and or ask the teacher directly. Oh.
So if there's any question regarding this ModelArts or any AI related, you can type it in the chat session, or you can send us an email to the developer.cloudapac. All right. So I saw a question here for the image classification and object detection. Does it support a live video feed? Okay. So for this thing, this ModelArts XML image classification object detection, it only support images. Okay, it doesn't support live video feed, but I can give you some example or some ideas if you are trying to do some AI on videos. Okay, so what you can do is that maybe you can create a program with Huawei ECS or your own API, which you process the video, okay, and then when you're processing the video, you take the video frame, like the frame per second or frame per 2 seconds, anything. You take it, you grab the frame, and then you pass the frame to our ModelArts, is image classification or object detection. Then, yeah, you can also get similar outputs if you are trying to do this, the video live feed. It doesn't support directly a video, but what you can do, you can grab the video frame and then you process the frame as an image through ModelArts. Right. So any other questions?
And the second question, is there an AI service for voice or text classification?
Feel free to ask in the meeting chat, or if you are, is there a AI service for voice and text classification? Is that, yeah, there is AI service for voice and text classification, which I showed just now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I shared just now in EXEML, we have the voice and text classification available. So yeah, we have this AI service. So let me share the link. Maybe it can be easier. Let me share the link for you. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so this is the sound classification. Then this is the text classification. All right. So any more question?
So any question?
All right, seems like there's no more question, right? So yeah, if you guys have any more question during the development of your competition projects, you don't be shy. Okay, you can just feel free to contact us via this email, the developer.cloudapac@huawei.com. You can ask any question. Oh, I saw any, can we use this service using APIs for our application? Yes, you can use it as an API call. You can just call these services using APIs. or any other way. For ModelArts EXML, you can use it directly on the Huawei Cloud Console, or you can also call it using the APIs. Yeah, we support API calling. So after you create the project, right? You create a project, you upload the data set, you train the models, okay? And you've done everything, then you will deploy the models. So after you deploy it, then you will be able to access it using API call to access the services. Okay, let me quickly share you a link on the APIs, how to access it via APIs. Okay.
Okay, if no other.
All right, so time's up, I think.
Yes,
Then we'll have another session on database, RDS. So if there's any questions, feel free to email us. All right, just email us and then we will have experts replying your queries. So feel free to contact us via emails.